in the amount of people going to the parks, because we saw it in Disney World. We saw it when they opened up Pandora, and we saw it when they opened up Toy Story. Well, two things. Disneyland and Disney World are different. Disneyland is a local park. It's much, not that that's a bad thing. I love Disneyland. Went there once, going back there next year. But it's not a tourist destination like Disney World is. So Disney World, I expect to see bigger crowds than you saw at Disneyland. Now, the other thing is, so because it's so local, a lot of annual pass holders were blocked out, I believe. So that hurts it, right? And then,
that's correct.
Because a lot of the locals are pass holders, because that's only smart. Another thing is, if you lived in Vegas and you were deciding, well, we're going to go to Disney World, let's not go the weeks when Galaxy's Edge first opens, because we'll never get on anything. Let's wait 6 months to a year when the crowds die out a little bit and spend our money then. I'll get more bang for my buck. The other third problem, when they opened Galaxy's Edge, they opened it at a tiered system. So they opened up one ride in some of the land, and then they just opened up the second ride. You're going to see the numbers rise because people were waiting for the second ride. They're doing the same thing in Disney World. Now, when I booked my trip for December, we didn't know what that tiered dates would be. And it just coincides that second ride opens up, that second attraction, I'm sorry, they don't call them rides in Disney, but that second attraction opens up the week I'm there. So right. It's going to be packed. And I can tell you Disney World was going to be packed anyway, because it's hard to book a hotel there right now for the next 6 or 7 months after this opens. And I know because we tried to add a day and we could not find a hotel to use our DVC points at.
You talk about Disneyland being in California. You're absolutely right. Me being in Vegas, it's a 4-hour trip. So I can go any time. I can go 4 times a year if I wanted to do different seasons because they dress it up differently. Yep. So, yeah, my money's going to go there. It's going to attribute to it. So, and you're right. You're local. You're on the West Coast. You are going to get those season passes. You won't have to worry about a hotel room unless you're an Embassy Suites holder or a Regent's Gold or whatever the case may be, where you always have a hotel to stay at. Whereas Disney World, for me, it would cost plane fare, Disney World itself, and the hotel. So that adds extra money to it.
Right. Well, and also Disney World itself is marketed more for the traveler than the local. They do have a great local community that goes. However, it has 20-something hotels because people from all over the world travel to Disney World, and they don't leave the property. Now, if I traveled to California, I'm a bad example. I traveled to California. I went to Disney. I went home. That was all I did. But there are a lot of people who, when they travel to California, stop at Disney World. But Disneyland, I'm sorry. But that is not the reason they're in California in the first place. If they were going to do that, they were going to go to Disney World where there's 4 parks and this and that. And I understand that. As a Disney fanatic myself, Disneyland is just as much of a destination for me personally as Disney World is, but for different reasons. For someone who's not a fanatic about Disney, they wouldn't have the same thought process I have about it because they've always heard about Disney World. You know, there's, right, like I said, families from Europe and families from Asia and families from Australia. They travel. They're going to Disney World because that's what's been pushed down their throats about what is the destination in America. One of them has always been Disney World.
And, you know, you also bring up a good point, is that the old cliche is you can't go to Disney World, spend a weekend, and expect to see everything. When it comes to Disney World, like you said, you have 4 different areas, right. Epcot, and it's what it encompasses. So it's going to take a week.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where the money's going to go that way. Disneyland has its own perks, not as big as Disney World, but still has that same feeling. But again, it's like a weekend trip.
Right. For a lot of people. Look, I was there for 4 days. I did almost every single attraction in the place. Right. I loved it. I want to go back. And the only reason why I haven't gone back is not because I like Disney World better than Disneyland. It's because I like the flight down to Disney World better than Disneyland. It cost a lot less, and that's the truth. For almost the same price, I get 4 days in Disneyland or 7 to 10 days in Disney World. So that's just because of that flight across country.
Right. I mean, you're absolutely right. It's $400 trip. For you and your family would be $2,000 minimum to fly to the West Coast, whereas it's probably a third of the price.
If that. And
going down
I drive
south.
now to Disney World. So we're talking 2 Phillips on the way down, 2 Phillips on the way up. That's $400.
Yeah.
And I don't even think I fill up actually that many times getting down there. So, but at worst case, we're talking $500 in gas. And I can stop wherever I want. I can smoke a cigarette or vape, as the case may be, whenever I want, not stuck on a plane for 2.5 hours. Now, I get it. It takes me 21 hours, but I like it. I like the drive.
And a lot of people started doing that years ago, getting away from the plane. They drove down because they wanted to do the scenery route and then end at Disney World.
And when my wife first proposed it, I thought she was insane. I thought that was nuts to drive and be in a car for 20 hours with 2 children. But you know what? It really worked out. We really enjoyed it. And because of that, actually on to our next topic real quick, the vacation rundown. Because of that, we found a place, Disney's Hilton Head Island Resort, which is in South Carolina. Hilton Head Island in South Carolina. I can't tell you how great this place is. You cannot. Now, if you've ever been to Disney World or Disneyland, and if you're listening to this, you've probably been to one or both, you know how great cast members are. Cast members are some of the greatest employees of any company in the world. And the Hilton Head cast members make the other cast members look like they're just regular employees somewhere.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. And I don't say that disparaging the cast members in the parks. Some of my best friends work at Disney World. My wife has good friends from high school that I consider very close friends of mine. But I got to tell you, the cast members at Hilton Head go so far above and beyond. I've never seen anything like it.
And, customer service, especially nowadays, and you're talking to travel and tourism, someone who lives in the travel and tourism capital of the States. And I can tell you that customer service goes a long way. It's very memorable. And it produces revenue on a year.
Absolutely.
Apparently. It constantly produces revenue. It's that returned money that comes back. It's the experiences that you leave with that start with when you walk in those doors and you see the reception agent.
Yep.
Or when you wake up in the morning and you see the guest room attendants walking by, always with a smile. That's what you want. Although it's a Disney related, it's what you want no matter where you stay.
Absolutely. And I just find for my money, Disney does it the best. That Disney has figured this formula out. They have trained their employees, their cast members, to be the best. And one of the reasons is, look, it's a silly little world if you're outside the Disney bubble, but the fact that they call them cast members sets a tone. You are on stage when you walk out there.
That's right.
You are part of the act. And I don't mean act in a bad way, but that's what it is.
No, the act is excellence in customer service.
Right.
That is the act. So you are part in that.
And you are part of the show. You're just, and to me, like when I call them a cast member, to me that means you're just every bit as important as a Mickey and a Minnie are in that park. Mm-hmm. You are just as good for the company as Mickey and Minnie. Like you said, why do I keep going back? Why do I keep spending money year after year after year with Disney and take all my vacations with Disney? Because Disney has made me want to spend money with them. The cast members have made me want to hand my money over to them and be like, here, just you guys take care of me better than everyone else. I want to stay here. And Hilton Head did that so well that the first day we were there last year, there was a mistake. The computer system went haywire and started texting my wife all different room numbers all over the resort, and she lost it because she was running with the bags. There's no elevator. She would run up to the 3rd floor, then find out we weren't in that room, go to another room, find out we weren't in that room, whatever. Right? So she had lost it. By day 2, we were buying points to stay there for the rest of our lives, or forever. It's 24 years left on the contract, but we'll see what happens after that. But point is we wanted to make sure we were there every year. That's how good they are. And if I can, I just want to go into a little bit about Hilton Head. So it's right on the water, on the marshlands in South Carolina. 4 minutes away is a private beach house with access to the beach and a second pool. You can walk out the back, and there's a gazebo out there. Out the back of the gazebo, out the back of the main resort, you can go fishing, crabbing. Me and my son do it every night when we're there, or every morning, one or the other. The golf in the island, not Disney related, but the golf in the island is gorgeous. That's what the island was made for. It turned into, after the plantations went away, a golf resort. Now, there is 2 characters at Hilton Head you can never find in a Disney park. And if you have a chance to ever go to Hilton Head and meet them, I suggest you do. One of them's name is Shadow. She is a beautiful golden retriever. Her story that I was told by the cast members is when they were building it back in the mid-90s, the painters kept getting their cans knocked over, and they couldn't figure out who was doing it. Well, it was this little stray puppy. Disney caught the puppy and has kept the puppy ever since, and hence we now have Shadow walking around the resort hanging out with people. Beautiful, well-trained golden retriever. Now, her main handler that I've seen has changed a little bit, but it was a man named Blue Krabby, B''Lou, Krabby, Crabbe. He is from the Low Country. He knows all the folklore. He knows the people. He knows the stories, the ghost stories, the pirate stories, and he tells them constantly. He's not just a storyteller, though. He's a great storyteller, but that's not all he is. He also does magic tricks, teaches magic tricks, and he also plays, I don't know, like 7 instruments: a penny whistle, a ukulele, a violin, or a fiddle. I could go on, but I don't remember the names of them all. You have to sit with Blue and listen to his stories. Nobody has better stories than Blue.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that's the extent of what I'll say about Hilton Head here for now. But I love it, and I'm going back next year in April. So I'll give another rundown when I go back again.
You know, the way you make it sound, and you talk about cast members and excellence and what makes a great employee. And Blue seems to me the hometown hero.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when it comes to being down in Hilton Head, he is a reason to go back to Hilton Head. All the other ones, Michelle, Jillian, I think her name was. My wife is friends with a bunch of she knew all their names and everything. I remember Michelle from the year before. She's a manager there. You have Gordon, who works upstairs at the Mercantile, which is like their store. He's great. And I know I'm missing names, and I think some of these people are going to listen to this, and I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I'm forgetting your names. But
the Twitter handle is @MagicDrop5.
But they know who they are, and they know they're great, and they know they're the reason why we come back year after year, and we will continue to come back year after year. And so one of the things that we do, and I'm going to put this out there. Look, we're running really long on the news section, but it's the first episode. So one of the things that we do is we always buy something, and instead of having characters sign it, we have the cast members sign it. So we take home a souvenir every year from our trips. Now, we just started this 2 trips ago. And we have the cast members who made that special sign that item. So this year at Hilton Head, we bought a Frisbee. From a Hilton Head Frisbee. It was like $2 at the store, whatever. That's not the point. The point is that we ended up getting all of these cast members. Everyone who worked at that resort signed all around, the camp counselors, the lifeguards, everybody. So...
I just thought of something. Maybe we can do an interview.
I'm sure we can get somebody on for an interview.
I would like to get an interview with these employees or these cast members, excuse me.
Yeah, I can reach out to some of them and see what's up. I don't know how Disney feels about their people being on podcasts, but we can figure something out.
We can reach out to some people.
So, all right. Well, that would round out the news area. Now, the news area will run a little long when I go on vacation at Disney because I will do a rundown of what happened in that vacation. I will try and do it quicker next time, but we will do that because from what I've seen in other podcasts, people do enjoy hearing about vacations because they want to know what they should do next time, maybe, when they go.
It's almost like you're getting a real-life account.
Right.
Of going down there.
And even if it's parks where people have been a lot of times, maybe I have a little hack or a little trick that they didn't know about. Now, my wife would be better to talk to about that, but she doesn't want to do this every week. So There goes